So in this video, I wanted to introduce you to VyOS load balancing feature, which I've been waiting for a while. It got integrated in VyOS 1.5 rolling release, so you can download VyOS 1.5 and test it out. VyOS already had firewall features, it had VPN features, and pretty much all the routing capabilities. And now it also has load balancing feature, which pretty much makes it a one-stop shop for cloud deployments or even on-prem deployments if you need to. So here I've downloaded VyOS 1.5 and I've put Puppy here as a client, web client right here, smallest Linux distro that you can find, and it's going to be hitting 1.1.1 as its destination right here on the web browser, and this request on port 80 would be load balanced by VyOS 1.5 to these two web servers, which are VyOS again, v2 and v3 have configured web services on both, and they're configured with 222.333 loopback addresses, and that's what I'm using to redirect on two different networks. So this is my basic setup here, and I wanted to show or share with you this feature set that VyOS 1.5 now has. So let's look at the demo. So if you have Puppy and you pop up the browser, this one right here, it's pretty straightforward. You do refresh with the shift command, and it will make sure that it's refreshing, it's not caching. So here when I'm refreshing it, it's actually going to v2, VyOS 2 on the web server, and VyOS 3. So you can see it's load balancing, and I'm hitting this address. So now it's working perfectly. Let's take a look at the VyOS 1.5 load balancer configuration. It's very straightforward. So if you see, go and do show, this is the configuration of load balancing. You basically set the load balancing with the reverse proxy, and you call it whatever you want for the backend server. First, you configure the backend servers and the mode round robin here. Mode, the balancing methodology is round robin, and the mode is TCP. I think the other option is HTTP. And then you configure the server for that. And in my case, it's 222 on port 80. And then you configure basically however many servers you need. In my case, we have two servers, 2222 and 3333, both on port 80. So you first configure the backend servers, and you're basically using a round robin algorithm to load balance between them. And then you go to the service configuration, call it whatever you want, and then tie it. Basically, you're tying this service to the backend BK, and then you're listening on this address. So if you look at the VyOS documentation, it's missing the example is missing this part, but you just have to listen to an address. It could be a physical address, could be a loopback, as long as your client is able to get to it. Again, the mode is TCP port 80, and that's it. That's basically what it is. It's pretty straightforward load balancing configuration. And now, as soon as you do that, you hit it on this address, because that's the listening address on port 80. I'm not specifying any ports here, and that's it. You get your load balancing feature working immediately. For VyOS, obviously, if you want to enable the HTTP server, and you simply do set service HTTPS and then listen address, and that's about it. In my case, the listen address here is 222, which is a loopback. And on this VyOS, I have routes, static routes to these loopback addresses, 2222 and 323, because my connected network is on 12 and 13. So I've got static routes to them, and my connected network here on the client side is 111. So this interface is 1111 and the client is on 2. Now on Puppy, it's pretty straightforward. Once you bring up Puppy, you go to your CLI. It'll prompt you with a lot of things, but all you have to do is use these commands to bring up the interface. The first command that you got to do on Puppy is IP link set dev Ethernet 0 up. Then configure with the IP address, whatever that IP address you want it to be. In my case, it's 1112 on dev Ethernet 0. Add the route to be quad 0 via 1111, which is this guy right here, default route, dev Ethernet 0. And that's it. And you have your Ethernet up. So that's all you got to put in the Puppy to bring it up instead of going through its, configuration tool. Just pop up the CLI, put this simple 3-4 commands in, and you're done. And then pop up the browser, put in the URL, and press Shift key. And there it is. So this is how your VyOS now has the load balancer feature set. It's got the firewall feature set, the VPN feature set, OSPF, BGP, MPLS is probably getting still baked. It's already there. It has the VRFs. So it's got a lot of feature set, which I'm really excited about. And it's also available on Azure as well as on AWS. So that's exciting news. Hope this helps.